All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about something that might just break your brain a little bit. It's this incredible paradox of how a game with super simple rules can create just an absolutely staggering level of complexity. And, more importantly, we're going to see what that exact same paradox tells us about the most complex game of all, our own lives. And we're going to use the game of chess as our guide.
So let's start with a number. A number that comes from a game you can literally learn the rules to in about 10 minutes. But this number, well, it's so huge it makes you question the size of the universe itself. Get a load of this, 10 to the power of 120. That's the Shannon number. And just to give you an idea of how completely insane that is, scientists figure there are only about 10 to the 80 atoms in the entire observable universe. So a game on a little 64-square board contains possibilities that dwarf the physical matter of everything we know.
And that right there, that is the paradox we're digging into. How? How can a system with just a handful of rules, 6 kinds of pieces, a tiny board, a few set moves, how does that create something that is, for all intents and purposes, infinite? Just hang on to that question for a second.
Okay, so here is where it gets really interesting and really personal. Because as mind-bogglingly complex as chess is, the game you're playing every single day of your life, well, it's on a completely different level.
Let's just do a little thought experiment. What happens if we apply that same kind of mathematical logic from chess, not to a board game, but to the game of being you? The number is, it's not even a number anymore, it's a joke, 10 to the 17,000th power. This number represents the sheer total chaos of possibility when you're in a misaligned state. It means every single choice you make creates this massive, tangled, branching tree of futures. It's an incoherent mess. So you look at that number and you think, how could anyone possibly navigate that? Where would you even start? Well, here's the secret. A chess grandmaster isn't thinking about all 10 to the 120 moves. No way. They're just thinking about their pieces, and we can do the same. The solution, believe it or not, is to stop getting hypnotized by the infinite possibilities and to focus on the simple rules that are running the whole show. And that answer comes from a framework called the Unified Behavior Model, or UBM for short. The UBM says that everything you think, feel, and do, it all boils down to an interaction between just 4 pieces on your board. That's it. You've got your stories, the things you tell yourself. You've got your emotions, how you feel. You've got your behaviors, your habits, and your skills. And you've got your environment, the context you're in. That's all you have, and it's all you need. Now, this is probably where a lot of you are saying, come on, just 4, life is way more complicated than that. And you know what? That's the exact same reason people don't take chess seriously at first. You learn the rules in 10 minutes and think, that's it? But the power of this model comes from a very bold, very scientific claim. It says, go ahead, try to find a 5th fundamental element of behavior that doesn't fit into one of these 4. It's a challenge. Okay, so understanding your pieces, that's step 1. The rules are simple, but just like with chess, you can learn it in an afternoon, but spend a lifetime trying to master it. So let's talk about how you go from being a total novice to a grandmaster of your own behavior. You know, most of us spend most of our lives playing in what you could call tenant mode. We're just reacting. Life happens to us. An emotion pops up, we act. Our phone buzzes, we respond. We're just tenants living in a house someone else built. The goal is to switch over to architect mode, where you are intentionally designing the game. You're choosing the strategy. You're building your skills on
4 pieces. You've got your method for analyzing the game. What's the ultimate winning strategy? What's the one thing that really separates the architects from the tenants? It's not about forcing things. It's not willpower. It's a concept called alignment.
Directly grab an emotion and change it. That's the weather. But you have direct control over the 3 big levers that create that weather. The stories you're telling yourself, the behaviors you're practicing day in and day out, and the environment you choose to be in. These are the things you can actually control to change your climate.
Remember this terrifying number? This is what it feels like when those big 3 levers are fighting each other. Your story is, I want to be healthy, but your environment is a kitchen full of junk food, and your automatic behavior is to reach for it. That internal conflict is what creates this state of maximum chaos.
But what happens when you get them aligned? When they're all pointed in the same direction, that massive number shrinks a lot. You're still playing a really complex game, but you've intentionally pruned away all the useless branches of the decision tree. You're no longer fighting off 1,000 bad moves. You're just choosing between a few really good ones. You've turned all that noise into a clear signal. And this is what that alignment actually looks like. It's a stable, self-reinforcing loop. It's like a behavior ecosystem. Your environment makes the right behaviors easier. Doing those behaviors reinforces the story you tell yourself, and that story makes you want to keep shaping your environment. All your pieces are finally moving together, in harmony.
And this is really the most important takeaway. Alignment isn't about limiting yourself or making your life smaller. It's about organizing all that infinite possibility. It's the art of compression, of taking chaos and creating coherence. It's how you stop being lost in a billion different possible moves and instead create a single, elegant, and powerful path forward. And that is how you master the game.